Welcome back to another episode of the 50 to 70 podcast, brought to you in association with 3FE Coffee. Get everything you need for your coffee fix at 3fe.com or visit one of their many stores located throughout Dublin. I am Dave Humphreys.
I'm Cormac Singleton.
And we're back.
Yeah, with Ireland's leading Honda Passport podcast.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Your number one source of passport content here.
Absolutely. We are the voice of authority on Japanese badged
bringing you
Land
literally
Rover product.
Well, that's the crossroad, as we've learned.
Yes, indeed.
We've been missing for a week. That's riding the wave of intrigue on the...
Our last episode, yes, our last episode of Simon Dean. A lot of people. We've had an extraordinary amount of comments. I've had a lot of messages, everything about it. And yeah, look, that wasn't a very easy episode for Simon to come on and do. He didn't have to do it. We didn't strong arm him to do it. He did it off his own. He said, "No, I said I was going to come on. I'm going to come on." And not that anyone might be wondering, but that was entirely one edit, one take. There was nothing was cut out of that. That's the whole interview. And look,
in fact, we probably could have gone on for easily another half hour.
Oh, look, I mean, yeah, absolutely. But we try and keep these things for around about an hour for people. But yeah, look,
and it was received kind of how we had hoped it would be.
Yeah,
for the most part,
it was definitely. Was our most popular episode so far, for a number of reasons. But yeah, look, just want to say fair play to Simon again for coming on and doing it. It would have been very easy and totally understandable had he said no. But
I suggested that we postpone it, and he went, "Nope, we're going to do it." So fair play.
Anyway, let's get on to other things. We are just back from Bicester.
Yes, we could not record while in Bicester. We thought about it, but we had a literal whistle-stop tour of Bicester Heritage.
It was a bit of a flying visit. We flew in and out that day. Alfa Romeo UK very kindly provided us with a Giulia Quadrifoglio to get there and back, which absolutely did it without any hiccups or fuss. Bit of a pity it was just a motorway drive, because it would have been nice to drive that a bit more. But we were up against the clock. But there was some pretty good stuff there.
Yeah, and if you don't know, which apparently not everyone does, Bicester Heritage, or Bicester Scramble, is the event at Bicester Heritage, which is a former RAF base in the UK. And Bicester Scramble is a now 3-time-a-year event, which is a gathering of everything. Nothing's left out.
I think calling it everything is actually an understatement, given what's there. First of all, the thing I love about Bicester is the location. The setting of it is fantastic.
It's perfect.
It is. It's a listed kind of heritage site. It was a former RAF base. It was actually used. I can't think of the name of the movie now. There was a film with Benedict Cumberbatch about the guy touring who cracked the Enigma code in World War II. Anyway, that movie, I'm sure some of you might know what I'm talking about, was filmed there. So that's the sort of setting of it. And you just have these gorgeous old red brick buildings,
which are all now housing,
which like
automotive
garages,
businesses,
companies. It's everything there is related to automotive. Polestar have a location.
The
there.
Road Rat.
There was Road Rat magazine, fantastic Road Rat magazine.
Little car company.
It's based there. So there's a ton of stuff, and then the idea of the Scramble is that everything is just kind of parked, and well, it's not really parked. It's kind of curated in a way, so you have cars kind of dotted around the whole place, and obviously you've got a huge car park outside. But what is there? And I said I was also very lucky that last time I was there, I actually had my UFO, my Honda Insight, was on display there. We drove over. We only flew this time, but what they have there is such an eclectic mix of stuff. I mean, you have a Toyota Century. Around the corner, you had a Ferrari F50, McLaren F1. You had every McLaren. So you had McLaren F1, McLaren
F1,
P1,
P1, Senna, Elva,
Elva,
and Speedtail.
and Speedtail. All there. They're all dotted on one corner of a green. But then you have
Centrodeci as well, but we saw that on the road on the way out.
yes,
that
and
was French racing.
There was like Pagani, Waira. There was, but it's actually the beauty of it is it's not just that. You then have completely normal cars as well. There, like there isn't any.
No one's left out.
Snobbery about this, and that's what I really like about the Bicester Scramble is that there isn't sort of we only put those things over there. Like you literally could have an old Morris Minor parked next to a Ferrari F40, and that's just the way it is, and it's fantastic. It's all the better for having that. That's the way.
Yeah, if you go through my camera roll, it's literally McLaren F1 and a Nissan PS13 Silvia Q's.
Yeah,
it is everything. And the best bit about it is they're very clever in how they lay it out, that they don't group anything together. It'd be very easy if, and actually we saw it in the car park where a load of Porsche GT products, mainly some green GT4s and GT3s showed up, all parked in line, and they blur into one.
Yeah.
They all look the same and they all blur into one, and you go, well, there's one there as far as I can tell. Inside, nothing is doubled up. If there is multiples, they are at the opposite side of the show to each other. So you can take everything in for the most part. It's so big you'll miss stuff.
I don't think there is. I think part of what it is they do you can apply to have your car.
Yeah, it's not a cars and coffee. You don't just.
It's not just it's not just who rocks up first. So everyone there has been allotted a space inside. But obviously they don't have you won't have as you mentioned, you won't have 10 of the same things in there, which is kind of the wonderful thing about it. Now that said, even out in the car park, which is on the airfield, you could sell tickets to the car park.
Well, as we learned when we brought our friend Mick, and he, when you let a small child into a playground, and they you go, where's he gone? That happened.
He's just gone.
Yeah.
We needed on one of those little tether things that goes onto your wrist because he was in fairness, we were every bit as excited the first time we went, so we're kind of seasoned pros now. But it is the sort of place. It is just a fantastic place. The stuff that's there, and I guess it kind of just shows you how strong the car culture in the UK is, and obviously just the size of the UK. B, they don't get roasted on tax for having a car here like we do. C, there's just that many more people living there, and
the fact that something like this
cars
can happen
aren't quite. I won't say vilified, but cars over there is a strong car culture. It's different to our car culture in some ways, but yeah, it's just there's phenomenal stuff.
You would struggle greatly with insurance here too.
Yes, and they have venues that can host these kind of events like this. It is. There must have been hundreds, if not thousands, of cars of people there, and easily probably 1,500 cars in the car park alone.
Oh, huge! When you're buying a ticket, it says, "How do you plan to arrive? On foot, by car, by plane." There's a grass airstrip in the car park as well.
Some people do fly.
They do. And as well, we're there for the whole day, and it's kind of in a triangle-y or a diamond-y shape where one entrance is at a point with a road on either side, and you can hear cars that are outside. And some people do pulls, but at no point in any of the shows we've been to yet have we heard someone stop, do a burnout, crash, go into a hedge. Just
no dickheads.
Yeah.
Unlike in Ireland, unfortunately, there are so many events, and I would say, with exception, I would say the guys that Dave that organised the Drive Ireland events, which I've been to one of them, and they actually had one recently enough. They seem to have an excellent crew who go on these things. It's early on a Sunday morning. There's a couple of them a year. It's a very well organised, nicely executed event, and they just don't seem to have any of the dickheads here. But then you go to even Cars and Coffee Dublin is out in Bray. It's good. There's a lot of good stuff there, but you also just get the dickheads.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but you are impressing absolutely nobody if you're leaving a venue on the red line.
In a diesel Golf.
You're just a twat. And that is the unfortunate thing, that we have that immaturity here, that, you're like a 10-year-old that's just found out that what your willy does. It's just like, get over it. Like, there's no greater flex than being in the most powerful car out of Cars and Coffee and just leaving at 15 miles an hour.
There's especially
like, you will have all of my respect for doing that.
When there's a line of TikTokers at the exit and you just blue ball the shit out of them by
I'm like,
valves
please,
closed.
That is it. In eco mode. Yeah, that's how you do it.
The point isn't to doom and gloom what we have, but more you go there and you go, okay, they're not leaving anytime soon. You know, there's still a life for cars and car events.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somewhere, but still there.
Yeah. And also, it's a bit of a treat. Like, also, it's different over there. You're seeing stuff that you're never going to see here in Ireland. Especially some of the old classic stuff. There's some phenomenal
huge amount of custom things as well, from American stuff to pre-war stuff. It's massive. You're walking around and there's a 250 short wheelbase and you do the next lap and it's gone. And also the people that show up is quite impressive as well. You have everyone. We ran into some of the guys from Auto Alex. We saw Chris Harris, the absolute deity that is Neil Clifford.
Well, yeah, I
Jamiroquai was there as well.
I ran into Ian Callum, the designer. He was knocking around. A couple of people from my world of automotive journalism who were there as well. Steve Cropley. I had a good chat with Steve Cropley. Steve Cropley is
the godfather of.
Steve Cropley is pretty much the reason I am an automotive journalist.
Like, same with Richard Hammond as well.
And that's it, and it's fun that I get to kind of, I get to chat with him and hang out with each other every so often on work events now. But he was there.
It's a total immersion in just being into cars. It's so cool, and it probably people in the UK would listen to this and go, "What he is on about?" It's just a car meet, but compared to what we're used to over here, it's just next level.
I think the next one is October.
Sold out.
Oh, it's sold out already. Yeah.
This is how hot it is. Neil Clifford put it best. He said you can get a ticket to a Taylor Swift concert easier than Bicester Scramble.
Yeah.
Now there's plenty of shows throughout the year. There's the Bicester gatherings and much smaller and sometimes more focused shows. So they sometimes have a 4x4 one or a themed show, especially around Halloween and Christmas. But there are 3 scrambles, which is the
big ones. Yeah.
So, the day after the last show, the October one went on sale, and it's now sold out.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of going, look forward to January.
Yes, yeah.
Would recommend it though.
Put 100%. It on your list. Go and check out what they're doing at Bicester.
And tickets are £20. This isn't some, salon privé level.
No, this isn't, and that's the beauty of it. Like, it isn't this snobby highbrow thing.
There's zero notions.
The tickets are cheap. It's relatively easy to get in and out of. So, for example, we drove to it before. We flew over this time into Heathrow. It was less than an hour in the car, straight up the motorway. You're straight in. Parking's easy. It's actually a very slick event in how it's organised.
Yeah,
they're hats off to the guys. They really do organise this thing very well. But definitely, I can't wait to go back in October. I know it's probably going to be a bit colder. It could be Baltic, but it's a fantastic event. Maybe we'll drive the Element over and go on that. So that could be a bit of fun. Speaking of driving places, I'm just back from Morocco, which was... You're
spending a lot of time there this year.
I've been there a few times this year now. Morocco is, if you want somewhere to do a proper... If you want to go on a proper road trip adventure, have a look at Morocco, because it's very cool.
I'm not going to say it's slept on, because people know Morocco exists, but I don't think everyone quite knows the vastness and the amount of change in the landscape there. It's not desert.
Yeah,
some of it is desert, but there's mountains. There's huge big mountain passes. If anyone follows Senior Class, he drove his 360 there last year, and
I must watch that.
It's a really good. It's a really good video, and that kind of highlights some of the change. At one point he is in sand, and then suddenly he's going up this huge gorge. It's just twisty mountain roads. Really, really cool. So it's more than just big sand pit.
Yeah, the scenery is spectacular. What's quite surprising is the quality of the roads are really good in an awful lot of places. Like we were in the middle of nowhere, and there were better roads than what we have in Ireland here. and just really good quality. But just the way it cuts through the scenery, you find yourself not stopping. You want to pull in and go, oh, stop, we've got to take pictures here. This looks absolutely spectacular. You get back in the car then, you drive literally around the corner and you go, oh, stop the car, we have to get out again, because it's just everywhere. It's just that the scenery is so different. So the reason I was there this time was there with Mazda. Mazda do a series of these events. They do one a year kind of thing. And it's the whole Epic Drive series is what they do. And I've done a few of them at this stage. And basically their whole premise is much like the phrase goes, just get out and drive. And they just go to amazing locations around the world, and in this case we were driving CX-60 SUVs, which wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, but we were also we did just under 1,300 kilometers in 2 days, bearing in mind that some of the driving we were doing was on proper shale roads, like not a screed of tarmac, like the sort of thing that you'd struggle to walk up nearly. But we kind of covered a bit of everything.
But it'd be easy to scoff at that it's just... and believe me when I say I'm the least crossover fan in the world. But it'd be very easy to scoff at that. But it kind of doesn't matter what you're in. That's kind of the point. That you're there to experience the scenery, the place, the landscape. If it's not a experience, the drive... and the dynamicism of a Mazda.
Yeah, because actually, to be honest, look, you could have done it in an MX-5, but you know what? It would have been a bit of a pain in something as small as an MX-5 to do it in.
It would be, and you'd also be going, well, it was great on some of the roads.
Yes.
Whereas this was going, oh my God, look at all these bits of Morocco I saw, which is kind of the point.
But also, some of the roads are so bad, you would be going, look at all these bits of my MX-5 that are now strewn across the landscape.
This lower control arm is my souvenir.
But it was phenomenal. So there's going to be a video going up on the Complete Car YouTube channel, so do check that out. I've already done a bunch of my Insta stories on it, so I'll add them as like a highlight. So if you want to check it out, just check out my Instagram. It's @LordHumphreys. And but honestly, it's not that far away, relatively speaking, from Spain. You can get a ferry across very easily, or you can fly in and just hire something.
Yeah. If you're driving, though, do make sure there are border checks and you have to have your car documents in order, including proof of ownership and stuff. Just if you're thinking of driving, it's not as simple as going to Spain. Make sure you have your stuff in order.
But it is absolutely worth the effort. It's so much fun. The roads are incredible. The scenery is amazing. The food is awesome. The people are lovely. And I'll be honest, like, it's actually very affordable there. Like, everything is really cheap, and that's the big difference as well. You know, it's worth spending the bit of money to get there. Because once you're there,
the same thing about Monaco.
Yeah, but it's just you're not paying €9 for a coffee kind of thing.
No, and in fact, you and I both have plans to go to Morocco next year and the year after.
Oh yes.
For various adventures.
We are working on something that we will share with you in the near future that is going to be phenomenal, and we'll probably test our friendship to the max. But it's going to be...
I also plan to take a Range Rover there because I'm sick of breaking down in the rain, and I'd now rather break down in the sun.
Well, yes, that's a good reason to do it. Just bring your factor 50 because it does get pretty hot there. But yeah, so Morocco Epic Drive, really just consider, like, this is the thing. If you're going to go plan a road trip, I know it might take a little bit longer, but it's the reward of driving somewhere that feels so foreign to where you're used to. Even driving in Europe, and I drive all around Europe. The difference when you drive there, you feel, even though you're in Morocco and Spain's only an hour up the road, you feel like you're thousands of miles away. And that's the beauty of it. And the scenery is so spectacular. It just looks so different.
And if you think, no, it's so far away, well, if you are in Dublin like us, you get a boat to Spain. And from Santander or Bilbao, it's 1,100 kilometres to the ferry to Tangiers.
Yes.
That's it. 1,100 kilometres, 2 days. You knock that out. Or if you want to be brave, you could tag team it overnight. But Like,
2 days is fine. There's a lot of lovely. I mean, you could actually give yourself a night in Madrid on the way down and check that out as well. So
yeah. So it's not, you know, that's other side of the earth. And yeah, it seems at the moment that, as at least car-wise, that Morocco is this up-and-coming, little-known place.
Seems to be. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my next invite to come in and go, oh, Morocco, wow. Love to go there. So yeah, speaking of car shows, though, let's get back to things, because if you're listening to this right now, that makes no sense.
Period.
If you're listening to this, essentially as soon as it goes live, tomorrow, Sunday or Saturday or something. Anyway, Sunday.
This
coming
weekend.
Sunday, this weekend is the Herbert Park Car Show in Dublin, and very pleased to say I will be there with my Avec Moi du Chevaux.
Yeah, repeat offender.
I haven't driven my TCV since October
or November. We're now just touched into May.
Which is an embarrassingly long amount of time not to have driven my car.
But then it's a very normal amount of time to not drive a car when you realise it's a Citroen.
Ooh. Well, I'm very pleased to say, credit to you. You have done a fantastic job of making it run wonderfully well.
I outsourced a lot of it this time.
But yeah, you got sense. That's the thing. But so yeah, I will be there. If you're looking for something to do this Sunday.
Yeah, if all two of you want a photograph, come up to us. It's no problem.
Just to be clear, this is the 5th of May.
Yeah.
5th of May, 2024. Herbert Park Car Show. It is all in aid of charity as well, so there's a good cause to it.
Yeah, there's a donation at the gate. It's always been good. We did fight the weather one year, and it still had a great time.
Yeah.
The
forecast is looking good.
Turnout's always good.
Not blistering sunshine, but should be dry most of the day. And there's always a very good mix. I think this year there's going to be a really good mix of cars.
It's been teed up that there's some heavy hitters.
Without spoiling, we won't.
You have to go and see.
Yeah.
And also, the organisers actually do a pretty good job of people that they know that have collections. They try and encourage people not to bring the same car twice.
Yes.
So it keeps it fresh for us.
Yes.
So it's it's a nice setting. There's a market on to get some lunch and everything. And each year they get more and more cars in. We're in a couple of hundred now for this year. So
there's a lot of great stuff there. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
I think it's 10 till 4. And
I believe it's 10 to 4. I think I got to get in early, about 7:30, 8 a.m. to get in. But then we go off and we get the cars in, then we go and have breakfast.
Yeah. So definitely recommend, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, get to it. You'll cover it all in an hour if you don't stop and chat to people, but it is well worth it.
Great thing to do on a Sunday. It's bank holiday weekends. It's on a Sunday.
What else are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, they've closed Braehead, so you can't do that.
Yes. Why have they closed Braehead?
The rocks kept falling over.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
none
now
of the darts are running this weekend either. So.
People just go over the fence now.
Okay, that's good to know. So that's what I've been busy doing that. And then what else have you been doing in the world of cars lately?
I've sold some stuff.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You can afford to eat now.
Yeah. I could probably talk about it a little bit. Is if you've been around Dublin, you'll have noticed that there was a CLK AMG 55.
Oh, this
languishing
car.
In a space for 2 to 3 years at this stage without moving. We won't get into why. It was a personal issue with the owner. It wasn't just forgotten about. He was not able to drive it. So it sat for a while, for quite a number of years, and he finally decided to part with it. And I was involved in the process of liquidating it and freeing it from its.
How long? It's been parked there for what? 2-3 years?
2 or 3 years without even getting opened.
There was wildlife growing underneath this car.
There were Alaskan bullworms had formed in the threads of the tires. It was like there was flora and fauna between it and the curb. It had just built up so much dirt that just stuff had started to grow. It was manky. It had been hit at both ends, more hits than the Beatles. It was just in bits. As far as an AMG goes, anyway, it's kind of weird to see one like that, especially here. And yeah, for anyone that has noticed it's gone and wondering where, well, it's been sold on, and it is now running, driving. It has had some light recommissioning, and now it is...
And a wash.
And a wash.
How pleasing was the wash?
There's 50-50 shots of it being washed, and it's amazing. You kind of you get used to seeing it in one state of being just filthy, and then when you see the dirt come off, you go, oh wow, it was actually really bad. I did get a chance to drive it. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I suppose better. Given how tired it was.
Yeah, and
so what, new battery?
It got a new battery, and it had to be deimmobilized as well.
Okay.
It had some issues with the keys, and it wouldn't start for a while, and then it was made to run, and once it kind of got some heat into it and some life into it, it was pretty happy. And so it was M113 non-supercharged 360 horse 5.4 V8. Proper job.
There's no replacement for displacement.
It's more like I was really, really happy to be involved with it leaving, because, and I won't say how or why or anything like that. If you want the real story, come find me. But you know when you just, something's there and then one day it isn't there? And this car moved and barely anyone saw this actually leave. So people just went to work or went into town the next day and it just suddenly wasn't there anymore. If that had been me, I'd have had so many stories going through my head. What's happened? How did it happen? Who did it happen? You know? And you make up this scenario in your head of like, oh, did the council take it because it wasn't taxed? And it, you know.
All the scenarios.
Yeah, and to be involved in it was really cool because you actually just get to know how it happened and that it happened properly and that it wasn't, you know, disposed of inconsiderably or something like that, and that it will continue to be on the road and it will get recommissioned. So, yeah, I'm sure there's loads of theories going around and I'd love to hear some of them. I've seen one or two.
Yeah. I think it's great that that's breathing life back into a car, because there are, certainly in Dublin, there are a number of cars that are like that I see.
Yeah, and this one like has been all over the socials. You know, there were people. I love like knowing most of the story and knowing now the whole story. You love to see people when they so confidently on Facebookers go, nope, this is owned by a local businessman who has loads of cars parked around the place. No, he doesn't. He's one. He parked outside his house.
Yeah.
And there's loads of that type of stuff going, oh, well, yeah, no, he's doing a stretch. Yeah, he's doing a stretch, he is.
Oh. Everyone's an expert.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's very funny to laugh at, especially if you're sitting in the car reading these.
Yeah.
It's very, very funny. Yeah, and there are loads of cars like that around the place.
Do you know if it's going to be sort of restored or is it just going to be kept as is? Because it still obviously has quite a bit of patina on it.
It does. It's still wearing its scars, which if it was me in charge of it, I would say paint the bumpers, drive the hell out of it. Park it anywhere, don't care if it gets a ding, gets whatever, complete the mileage on it, you know?
Yeah.
Just drive it everywhere. Who cares? It will never be investor grade. So just enjoy it. It's such a good car. It has loads of life left in it. You know, that would be my choice.
Was it debadged?
No. There was lots of theories of, again, people who just think they know something and don't. Lots of people said it was fake. Said it was a 200 or a 320 because it only had exhausts on one side. And only 1 year of CLK AMG had exhausts on both sides. And this wasn't that one. This was the one that had them only on one. If you look at W210 E55s, they only have exhausts on one side. It's always on the left. You know, it's just...
That's the way.
It's the way. People just think they're experts. It's funny. And sometimes you get tempted to comment and correct. And other times it's funny to just go, CO Google, is it? All right.
I'm glad that cars like that don't go and get scrapped and don't just go off to be cubed, because God, such a sin for that to happen.
As I said, I was involved with it leaving, and I have all the pictures. They'll never see the internet because it's just,
Yeah.
you don't need to know.
Keep it for the book. You gotta have content for the book. Everyone has a book in them. That's what I always say.
And I've seen people online already talking about going, oh, a reliable source told me this happened, and it couldn't be further from the truth. And it's like, well, you'd want to check your reliable source because the first-hand info says otherwise.
It's been stolen. Revenue stole it because it belonged to an MMA fighter, and then he was in doing a stretch, and yeah. Oh no.
But anyway, the important thing is the AMG is back alive.
Yes.
And it will continue to be driven.
Fantastic.
And it is for sale at the moment. It is on Dundee. I know a couple of people have seen it and linked it. Buy it. It's good.
Yes.
It's worth it.
Yeah. It's not you selling it, by the way, now.
It's not. No. I don't own it. I didn't own it. Yeah. I was just involved in helping it leave its space.
Yeah. Still. Cool story. I mean.
Really cool story.
Yeah. Cars like that are.
Really nice guy as well. I asked him how many knocks on the door, notes. He said it was constant.
Really?
Constant.
Oh my God. Yes. Especially because I remember seeing pictures of it towards the end, just before it moved. And
it got bad, yeah.
Really bad. And like, to the point you feel sorry for it, but...
Oh, it just became known and going, oh God, like, it got to the point where you go, it's not going to be saved.
Yeah, well,
he's happy to leave it there.
That's probably why most people think it's been cubed or something like that. That it probably just, they came along, brought it down to Hammond Lane, had it scrapped, that was this. So, yeah.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, well, like, that's it. And it's like Gerhard Berger's Ferrari being recovered after being stolen 30 years previously. So it's like, there's always a good story behind these things. So, yeah, that's, I don't know, fair play. That's good to know that it's going to live onwards. It's important to these cars survive, even if they are, well, Jesus, that really did just about fucking survive. But
I mean, a lot of people parking in town try to have their way with it, and
I think it was used as a parking sensor for quite a number of people. Yeah, which didn't really help where it was either. But if you know, kind of thing. So, yeah. So a lot of people, I'm sure, will know which one we're talking about, and where it is.
Yeah, I don't even need to say the road. You know where.
You know where. If you know, you know. But no, that's kind of good. But otherwise, I've apart from my Mazda CX-60 3.3 litre diesel that I drove to Morocco, I've largely been living the electric life lately, which is relatively pleasant, but it is getting a little bit sort of tedious. As much as I love electric cars, it was actually quite nice driving that diesel in Morocco, just because it was just an engine and it had sound and vibration and lots of torque. The ID7 that I'm driving at the moment is
a Volkswagen. Yeah,
it's a Volkswagen ID7, and that's kind
Please
of
refer to 2 episodes ago when we said we're just waiting on the next gen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Whereas, like that ID code concept that I went over and looked at, which was unveiled at the Beijing Auto Show, like that's kind of the future direction of where Volkswagen is going. I do just a video of that on the YouTube, so check that out. But I spent quite a bit of time that day talking with Andreas Mint, who's the head of Volkswagen Design, and he's just so damn enthusiastic about design. And I think, this is the guy that was responsible for the ID2 GTI concept that was unveiled not that long ago. Formerly of Bentley, and he's done the rounds within the group. But he's now in Volkswagen. And I think I kind of get the impression if they let him do what he wants to do, Volkswagen could come back to start making some good-looking cars, interesting cars again.
Are more clever than BMW.
Yes.
Because BMW shot themselves in the foot. They brought out the XM, specifically brought out the XM, and then nearly immediately afterwards said, oh, and we have an even better one coming soon, the XM Red Label.
Yes.
And so everyone, well, I'm not going to buy the base one. If you say there's a better one coming, I'll buy that one. And it effectively made the XM sale-proof.
Well, I mean, I think there are other factors in making the XM sale-proof, namely the fact that it's
named after a Citroen, looks horrendous, sounds like horrific. A Subaru, is offensive on all the senses.
It's also the ultimate bastardization of the BMW M brand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, sorry, you want to make a dedicated M-only model, and that's what you fucking
James May
made.
had a very good quote of an X5 M competition. What the fuck is an X5 competing in? Which is, yeah.
It's just, I'm sorry.
So
Anyone who's a BMW fan listening to this, I apologize. You'll probably agree with me though if you've any sense, but the BMW XM is just an abomination of a thing.
yeah, you say Volkswagen could come back. Well, they're hardly going to go, no, the next car is going to be excellent because, exactly, you'll weld every ID product to the showroom floor.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that, at least they're getting back to trying to make stuff a bit more fun because God, Volkswagen got fierce boring there for quite a while, and the buzz didn't really create that much of a buzz, and I think they're struggling to sell at the moment.
Good pun there, Dad.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun and electric,
yeah,
whoever's in charge of Citroen Ireland socials at the moment,
I know the person who's yes.
give them a raise, please, because never has there been someone, maybe Ryanair that would tie in with this, but someone so on the nose, just finger on the pulse with what people are thinking. It's brilliant. If you don't know what I'm on about, just have a scroll through Citroen Ireland's reels. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I've actually sent the person a message saying how much I'm enjoying it because that's the thing, like car companies, and I know how this works, like there's so many layers and there's corporate compliance and blah blah blah, and I'm sure there's probably somebody in Citroen France having a conniption fit about it, but I don't care because this is exactly
looking up from their baguette.
This is exactly what social media engagement should be. If you're a brand, like have some fun with it. Stop being so fucking serious.
Well,
we're
currently highlighting the point because they've done something that's interesting and fun and tongue in cheek. We've now talked about it, and if even one person listening to this checks out the reels, that's done its job.
It. Yeah.
So. It's
and
just.
By the way, we're not being paid to say this. It's just.
I happily will be, but we aren't.
They are genuinely just like I've actually put it this way. I work in this industry. It takes an awful lot for a car company to do something to make me actually laugh out loud at something, and they've done it.
Yeah, like you think back through historic ads and stuff over the years with the this is the guy who put it all on red Volkswagen one, and car companies they've shown us they can have a sense of humor and have fun, and this one is just the last while. It's very, very good.
Yeah,
it's really good. It mainly plays on.
Don't spoil it. Go and have a look at it because they've done. It's not just one thing. They've done a lot of things, and they're just. It's so nice to see
just a little bit of not taking themselves seriously.
Exactly, just having a bit of fun with it. Like that's exactly what you should be doing with these things. So yeah, bravo to the guys there. Well done. Quite like what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned this already. Did I mention about the Dacia Duster? I don't think I did.
I can't say it's left a lasting impression.
No, I probably didn't, right? But this is the thing. Dacia, or Dacia as it's officially pronounced, they're actually designing some pretty cool stuff now. So I was driving the Duster down in.
Yeah, I'll go so far as to say it's not awful.
It's not awful. Now look, we need to. I suppose we need to sort of label this as we are talking about a mainstream crossover here, right? So it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but they've just kind of taken it and turned it into something that looks kind of cool.
But see, you say that there's not a lot. Myself and some others do kind of find intrigue in small economy cars and how you can do a lot with not a lot.
Yes, correct.
So yeah,
especially making a car affordable or cheap. I know they hate the word cheap, but like it is cheap. But it's how you like how they've done it and what because a lot of the little details in it. I don't want to be nerdy, but like I know how complex some things can be, and they've kind of just done a really good job of like making stuff look really cool.
Yeah.
And it's just got that kind of cool.
And necessity is the master of creation.
Yeah, it's
when you
like,
have constraints.
It's kind of got this like utilitarian look to it, and I'm just like, yeah, that actually looks really cool. So I think they've done a really solid job with it. And I think they'll probably the Duster's not coming here till like the end of the year, but like the Duster is kind of a household name. Like everyone knows.
It's what my nan used to clean the stairs.
No, but everyone knows what it is. Like that's the thing, and that's a real marker of how successful that has been. That they've there's loads like it's like Qashqai. Qashqai is like I know, you
Shivers.
your eyes are right, but every single person knows what a Qashqai is.
Yes, because they've had an accident with
Being-
one.
being
They've been
reversed
hit.
into one.
One has merged on top of them on the M50. That's how you know. It's the international signal of I have not got a clue what I'm doing here.
Anyway, they know what it is.
80k in lane 3. That's what that is.
Well, maybe the Duster will take some of that mantle over, perhaps. Yeah, but anyway, look, I think they've designed some cool stuff. They're going to the Dakar. They're going to compete at the Dakar in 2025 with this fantastic machine they're devising with ProDrive. And yeah, look, I just kind of think like that's a brand that, okay, sure, look, they're not exciting cars, but just design-wise, they're actually doing some pretty cool stuff. So I kind of got to tip my hat to them. David Durand and his team, who are doing fantastic stuff there. So bravo to them.
Speaking of exciting designs,
Yes.
drum roll. Just today, we have a new Ferrari.
Yes. The
Not a Daytona.
12 cylindri, which is, I can't remember what 12 is in Italian, but that's the name.
Dodeci.
Dodeci cylindri. Anyway, so yes.
The name is
what do you
just
think of it?
so piss off.
Yeah, I know.
There's so many other names. There's literally every other name.
Yes. Also, it's 12 cylindri without a space between it.
Yeah.
And what do you think of it? I mean, serious Daytona vibes.
I think it's named by the same person that named an anteater.
Yes. Captain Literal.
Yeah. Front, cool.
Yeah.
Johnny Lieberman used a very good term for some of it. Now, I'm a big Ferrari fan. He said very generic, which if you go past the front wheel, it kind of does get the side into... I do think the rear is phoned in. If you look at it rear dead on, it's not a huge step forward from the last ones.
Yes.
Now, the front, everyone's going wild over it. It has a little mask on, like a little raccoon bandit
It's like a little raccoon, yeah.
to mimic the Daytona. And that's cool.
I'm
It's
looking at it right now. Yeah, I think it's definitely... I mean, to say it has strong Daytona vibes would be a massive understatement.
Yeah, and then you go, well, they named the SP3 to Daytona.
Yes.
But then if they had named this to Daytona, everyone would, Jesus, that's an offense to Daytona.
I know, yeah. You can't win with these.
You can't
things,
win. But yeah, as I said, why couldn't they give it a numeric name?
Yeah, but you know, I think some of their names, like I much prefer when things have actual names, like names. Like,
But they've gone super fast.
well, not super. That's a fucking terrible name.
They started with Ferrari the Ferrari, Ferrari super fast, Ferrari 12-cylinder is the next one. This one, we have a Ferrari car.
Yeah, Ferrari car. That's it. Yeah. I dig it. I don't like the Spider version, though. So this comes as a coupe and has a Spider. I don't like the Spider. I prefer that. I also really like this the little black tail on it.
If you look at it dead side on, there are hints of Zagato.
Yeah.
Kind of that, the sweeping roof.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, actually, if you look at it dead side on, you see like the windscreen, A-pillar and roof, very 599.
Yeah. Now,
sans buttresses.
it does a very, very good job of tying in with the 296 in terms of lineage. You'll quite clearly tell what era,
Yes.
in years to come, when you look back, you will know that went up with the 296.
Correct.
There's a lot of kind of language going across it too, which is nice. It's done well. And the highlights are 9,500 RPM.
830 horsepower.
NA.
No turbocharging.
Yeah.
It is an atmospheric engine, and that is going to sound epic.
Coming soon to a hedge near you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only thing I worry about is when those absolute bastards in Mansouri will get their hands on one and will turn it into some horrific thing. Or those guys who do the Largo stuff. Novitec. Oh, my God. Just please stop.
I'll take a Novitec over a Mansouri.
No, sorry, no.
If you had to make me be really, really gaudy.
Oh, God.
I'll take a Novitec in black because you can see less of it.
Yeah, I think it's cool though. I think definitely there's going to be some cool versions. I mean, they couldn't call it Daytona because then they couldn't make a Daytona GTO in years to come, right? Because
365 GTB4. That's a heritage name.
yes. I mean, what could they? They could have called it the 830. 830 horsepower.
895.
895. Yeah. So many.
895 GTB.
They've already got 812.
Why? Why not the 895 GTB?
I know.
895 Berlinetta.
Those are names that needs to have back.
Yes.
They're the good names.
895 TB.
Well, tuberculosis, maybe. Yeah.
Now, disagree because I prefer topless.
Of course you do.
I like target tops. I prefer target tops to any other form of vehicle
Really?
in the world. I've had multiple Corvettes.
That's why, yeah.
You lift the roof off.
I don't mind some of them, but I think some target tops work. Probably 348 TS, yes.
Yeah.
I'd still rather.
I see you want to continue this friendship.
I see. Yeah, no, I still would rather although what Simon was suggesting you get a 348 Spider.
Yes, Simon should suggest that you get a 348 Spider
Yeah.
and let the values of them go up and not the target that I want.
Yeah, I want a TB. TB would be the one although really for me the last classically beautiful Ferrari is the F355 Berlinetta.
GTS.
GTB Berlinetta. Sorry, we're just going to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's. I will fucking die on that hill. I swear to God, that is the last classically beautiful.
Outside of Mondial, is there any wrong Ferrari?
Oh, there are a few.
Mondial
is it the wrongest Ferrari?
A Mondial
400.
is owned by someone who owned every piece of Ferrari merch first.
Yes, and then progressed up.
Yeah.
It's
the 924 of.
What about a 208 GTB?
It's got
The
a turbo.
Italian special, Italian tax special.
It's got you have a turbo V8 Ferrari.
Yeah, true.
And it's got extra vents. That's how you can tell it's a turbo from the side.
Yeah, on the side. A lot of people hate the 308 GT4, but I quite like it, the Dino.
Yep.
Just because it's Bertoni, and I like Bertoni design. But
tell me you tried to buy a Lamborghini Morocco in the dark.
I mean, I do. I'm annoyed that they're no longer at the whatever. I think they were like 14,000 at one point. They couldn't give them away.
Yeah, I'm shocked. That really
ship has now sailed, unfortunately, and now they do give them away for substantially more money.
Amazingly, 50 grand somehow.
Fucking hell!
Yes, I'm as baffled as you are.
Although that is the price of an ID4, so you know.
Well,
I still know what I'd rather buy. Yeah. Well, look, there you go. That's yes. I feel very bad now about all the cars I've missed out on.
Yeah.
If only there was a time machine.
I've turned down F body 911s sub 10 grand. E46 M3s sub 5 grand.
Oh dear.
E39 M5s for 5 grand.
Oh God. Which are now what, 10 times that? For a good one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need about 40 grand to have a good one. So I'll never experience that.
Yeah. First gen Boxster as well. Also a car that has long been on my list.
All right, Neil Clifford.
And is now they're starting to creep as well now.
They are. They're in and around the 10 grand mark. Now, would you go 2.5, 2.7 or 3.2?
I'm kind of happy with any of them really. I mean, obviously, yeah, 3.2 would be the nicer one, but that was the S, wasn't it? Yeah.
Early ones were 2.5, and then they stepped up to a 2.7.
Part of me, because I have this dreadful illness where I love sort of originality. I love everything to be stock and original. So part of me would naturally go, I should get the 2.5 because that was the first one.
So you want to be the main female protagonist in any noughties movie?
Oh, that's mean.
Girls.
No, I like the originality of it, and I think first gen Boxster, silver, Maybe a red roof. Did they do the red
They
roof?
did,
then?
yeah.
Yeah, I think silver with the red roof, I think, looks fantastic. Fried egg headlights, orange lenses.
I mean, I suppose
I'd probably actually have a black roof, to be honest.
what that car would do really well is slow car fast.
Yes.
Because you get the soundtrack
Yeah.
without, being license losing territory.
Yeah, I just like it. How, like, I remember when that car came out first, and I was like, oh, this is like something new from Porsche, because we'd only had, really up to then, there was like 911s, and then the front
Is the engine in the front or the engine in the back?
Yeah, no, it's in the middle. What?
Yeah. A fun thing about Boxsters, if you stand on one side, they have obviously vents behind each door. Mm-hmm. They're not both intakes. One is actually a heat vent. So if you stand next to them with one running, you'll have heat coming out of one, and you'll feel a very light pull of air on the other one.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know which is which?
I used to. I think the driver's side is heat.
Right, okay.
Sorry, right hand side is. I
Okay.
think the right hand side is heat. But
Interesting.
yeah, don't quote me. I'll have to do another.
It's not
apology.
quite like sort of Jay Leno turbine car going to turbine motorcycle going to melt people's cars heat.
No, nor is it going to suck in children and dogs that are
Damn.
on the path. But
Damn it.
if you put your hand right up to it, you will feel there's
Feel
a
it.
difference between each side.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's
Oh,
why.
There you go. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now, see, this is what we do. It's a free service, and we hopefully by now we have pushed something useful out of your head and replaced it with something that's entirely
You've
useless.
spent an hour of your hard-earned day to learn that you're going to walk up to a Boxster the next time and start feeling it.
Fucking guarantee you, next time you see a Boxster, you're going to wonder, and
Yeah.
you're going to put your hand out. It's like when there's wet paint and people go, "There's a wet paint sign," and people have to
Yeah.
touch it. That's what you're
The
going to
next time someone here sees a Boxster, they're going to go, "Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't
Don't
do
do
it.
it."
Don't do
Yeah.
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So let us know when you do it.
Yes,
Send
please
us a
do
message.
let us know. Send us a picture with pointing in which one is which. Okay, look, we've taken enough of your time. I have to go and clean the car and get it ready for the Herbert Park show, which is on this Sunday, the 5th of May, if you're listening to this in
Or
time.
last Sunday, the 5th of May.
Or last Sunday. It was great to see you there. Thanks so much for all of you for coming up and saying hello. It's fantastic. I will be there, and I will, of course, be having my 3FE coffee in hand, because we are sponsored and supported by 3FE Coffee. So if you need your coffee fix, head over to 3fe.com or visit any of their stores. And if you feel like getting into the coffee business, 3FE's boss of bosses, Colin Harmon, has written a fantastic book called Everything I Know About Running Coffee Shops. So might inspire you to do something. Or, you could just be like me and just drink coffee. Anyway, either way, 3fe.com. I've been Dave Humphreys.
I'm Cormac Singleton.
Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.